Salveta. Today we need to talk about a verb form called the infinitive. You may have heard of this one also in your English class, but you might be a little bit fuzzy about it. In English, an infinitive is simply a verb with to, T-O, in front of it. For example, to run, to jump, to swim, and so forth. Now in Latin, we already know some infinitives, so go ahead and start off a chart with active and passive columns and 3 rows, present, perfect, and future. Again, give yourself about 3 to 4 lines in between those rows. And you may already be thinking, hey, this sort of looks like the chart for participles, and it does. In fact, the chart is set up the same way. Now, we already know the present active infinitive. In fact, it simply is the second dictionary entry. So words ending in ARE, like from first conjugation, words ending in long ERE, like from second conjugation, words ending in short ERE, as in third and third IO conjugations, and words ending in IRE. These are all present active infinitives, and they're just translated to blank. So portare would be to carry, right? Audire would be to hear. The passive looks very, very similar. ARE becomes ARI. Long ERE becomes long ERI. ERE becomes just I, and IRE becomes IRI. And the translation in English is to be blank. Perfect active infinitive is very easy to make and recognize. You just take the third dictionary entry, whatever that is for your verb, and add SSE to it. Translation, to have blank. Now, if this is starting to seem a little bit confusing, we're going to make it clear when we do an example here in just a moment. The perfect passive infinitive is the fourth dictionary entry plus the separate word essay, meaning to have been blank. Let's stop here for just a moment and look. Notice for the perfect active infinitive, I've got a little dash beside the SSE. That means you add SSE directly to the third dictionary entry. For the perfect passive, we're not adding anything to something. Just take the fourth dictionary entry, leave a space, and then the next word is essay. So the perfect passive infinitive is actually a 2-word or a compound verb form, meaning to have been blank. Then comes the future active infinitive. It's the fourth dictionary entry with you are stuck in the middle, followed by the separate word essay. So again, it's going to be a 2-word verb form. To be about to blank. And finally, the future passive infinitive is the fourth dictionary entry plus the separate word iri. That's not a suffix. Again, it's a separate word, so another 2-word verb form. To be about to be blank. Now, at this point, you probably are saying, that sounds ridiculous. The other one sounded okay, but the future, active and passive, that sounds ridiculous. And I agree. In fact, we're rarely, if ever, going to use those translations that way. Those are pretty much just placeholder translations. Think about when you first learned to ride a bicycle. You had training wheels, and then at some point you took the training wheels off. So those translations for the future infinitives, those are kind of like the training wheels. We're just going to use those to kind of complete our chart, but we're going to make better use of those later on. So let's take a look at a couple of example sentences. Copy these sentences, underline the 2 infinitives in each sentence, and identify the tense and voice of each. So is it a present active? Is it a present passive? What is it? So underline each of the 2 infinitives, the 2 infinitives in each sentence, and identify them. Pause the video while you do so. You should have underlined videre and videri in the first sentence, and amavisse and amatum esse in the second sentence. According to your chart, you should have seen that videre is present active and videri is present passive. Amavisse is perfect active, and amatum esse is perfect passive. Now take a moment and see if you can figure out the translation. Pause the video while you do so. You should have come up with, we want to see the king, and the king wants to be seen. And for number 2, it is good to have loved and to have been loved. Now, we're not going to do an example with the future infinitives because, like I say, we're going to use those in a different way coming up soon. So right now, that's all we're going to say about infinitives. Waleta.